Welcome to Triangle BNI. Today's show is brought to you by Simply Done Concierge. Folks, we can make money. We can make a lot of things. We can't make time. We can't get that back. So that's what we do at Simply Done Concierge. We can run errands for you. We can do meal prep for you. We can pack. We can unpack. We do laundry for some clients. All kinds of things that you don't have time to do on your to-do list. We'd love to help you. Go to simplydoneconcierge.com. Tell us how we can help you, and we'll be there in no time. Hi, everybody. My name is Mike Manning. Each week on Triangle BNI, we bring you a local small business success story. If you are not familiar with Triangle with BNI, it is Business Networking International, the world's largest networking organization. Our little slice of heaven here in the Triangle, Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, and the surrounding towns. About each week, what is it now? 32 chapters get together, about 550 members. Our goal is to help each other grow our business. And our local small business success story this week is Michael Franks with Franks Financial and Insurance Planning. Michael is a member of Triangle North Core Group, which means they're trying to become a full-fledged BNI chapter. They are in the Franklinton, Youngsville, Lewisburg area. And Michael holds the financial seat in that chapter. Michael, good morning. How are you?
Hey, good morning. I'm well, thank you.
Glad to have you here. A number of things to talk about. Michael, I believe, is our first beer I don't want to call you beer producer because I don't want to get you into trouble. But
Alcoholic's probably inappropriate
yeah,
too.
he brews his own beer, so we'll talk about that. All kinds of hobbies. But Michael is in a core group. We're up to 9 folks now, right, in the group.
Yes.
All right. They meet every Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. at the Slammer in Franklinton. And if you've never been there, it's a cool place. I believe it was the old jail, correct?
Yes.
And they have signs and things in each room about what it was. It's a cool place. My first time there was last Wednesday. I thought it was a pretty cool place.
Yeah. Pretty neat.
And it is downtown Franklinton, easy to find. So if you're in the Franklinton, Lewisburg, Youngsville area and looking to join the BNI chapter, this is a wonderful group, a lot of folks. So here's what this group's doing right is that area is one of the either the top or the second biggest growth area in all of the triangle. So now is the time to join that chapter to get in there early because eventually other people are going to figure out, oh, no, we better get out there real quick. And it'll be too late because you guys have all the business locked up. So that's what I like about that group. Financial advisor for 11 years.
Nope.
How long?
Going on 19.
Oh, I got bad info on a website when I was researching you. My bad. Did you grow up? Did somebody do that in your a mom, a dad, aunt, uncle, grandfather, grandmother, something like that? Is that how you got interested in numbers at all?
No. I've actually always been kind of a science-minded guy, um, and sort of lends to the brewing piece of my life. But numbers always just make sense. So there was no one in my family that did it. My father was actually a plastic surgeon. So I grew up around medicine, but didn't seem like the greatest lifestyle. So I went in search of what would fit me.
When did you first start saving money for a purpose?
Oh boy. With a purpose, I guess, when my first child was born.
All right, maybe let's go back to high school when you were first aware of, you know what, I want to build up a savings account.
I started working probably in my teens somewhere. I know I worked. It was one of my first jobs. I was we call it the maintenance crew at the local swimming pool. Everything from testing the chlorine to
Yep.
taking the trash out, you name it. They just told me to go do something, and I'd go do it. Didn't ask a lot of questions.
What was the going pay rate back then?
Oh, geez, not much, not much. Not a lot of people to complain to either. So I just accepted it and moved on with my day.
Were you saving money from that check?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think I spent a lot of money on anything at that point. I mean, I was still living at home with the parents, and had a roof over my head, and food was always on the table. So I was fortunate there.
Oh, the easy days, huh?
Yeah, right.
When I talk to other financial advisors and folks like that, one of the things I think we always shortchange, not to use a no pun intended, but general folks like me and walking around, we like, oh, I don't have enough money to really start investing, and that's not correct, is it?
No, no. You have to start somewhere.
Mhm.
I mean, if you come into it with the thought of, oh well, I need probably a couple $1 million to retire, and I haven't saved anything. Yeah, that's sort of a daunting consideration. Um, it's like looking at a 10,000 square foot house and saying, I'm moving out of my parents' house. That looks like a good option. Well, settle down a little bit.
Yeah.
Smaller steps to start. So yeah, you can start anywhere. I've certainly had people start with $150, something pretty small, and grow from there.
Yeah, and it's a math equation because if you're 19 and you put yourself on a plan to put 150 bucks a month away over and over again, that's going to work to your advantage because we think, oh, well, that'll never amount to anything. But, in 40 years or so, that's kind of a good way to start, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've met very few people that are true savers. We talk about the spenders and savers. I'm sure everyone's probably familiar with that as a topic, but the true savers, the people that just keep every penny, they're pretty rare. Um, I've met a few, and it's always a sort of a surprising conversation of how much they've squirreled away over the years. You go, wait, what? But things like 401ks are great because it doesn't even hit your paycheck. You don't have to consciously take money from one account and put it into another. You just set it up and it automatically sends it somewhere so that you don't have to make that decision regularly. So I'm a fan of that.
Yeah. And just in our normal cycle of paying bills each month, should that investment plan, whether it's 150 bucks or 1,500 bucks a month, be, do we pay ourselves first? Do we take care of the house and the car and all that stuff, and then whatever's left over, we do that? Or what's kind of a good thought process?
It's sort of tough to give blanket advice. I mean, everyone
Mm,
has a different situation. There's different, there's certainly folks that have kids when they're teens, and it's everything they can do to just put food on the table and diapers on their baby. So it's hard to tell someone to take money out of that and save it for a rainy day when they're technically in that rainy
yeah,
day at the moment. But assuming that you're making ends meet and you're not paying 20 some percent on a credit card, probably a good idea to just bite the bullet. I mean, there's going to be a time when you probably cannot work. So when will you need that money? That's that's the question. The
yeah,
sooner you start putting it away, the sooner it multiplies.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, and it is a difficult question. You're right on that. So let's talk about fun times for people. Um, well, let me say this. So, your kids are considerably younger than mine are. I remember bringing each of them home, and thought, okay, whose idea was this? So a little stressful back then, but still a fun time. So for newborn kids and more importantly, newborn grandkids, what's if we wanted to, let's talk of grandkids first, right? So if the grandparents just want to do something to start something for their grandkids, what's an easy in for something like that?
I mean, the traditional answer is always a 529 college savings plan. It's something that anyone can contribute to. So it makes it simple. It's not really a complex process in terms of avoiding specific bizarre taxation situations. It's just you want to give money to the grandchild. Clearly, they don't know how to spend the money. And,
Mhm.
it avoids even having to worry about the children in the middle, the parents of these newborns, spending the money on something that maybe wasn't your intention.
All right, so am I a bad parent because I've told now our oldest son has our 2 grandkids right now, Oliver and Maggie, and our youngest son and daughter-in-law, Jen, are expecting, what's today, the 9th? So I think by about the 27th, hopefully, between now and January 27th, we'll have our 3rd grandchild. So, am I a bad parent because I told both my boys, college, you pay for that. I'm not paying for that. I wanna set up something for my grandkids." And I'm sure in your industry, Michael, that this phrase is there, so I know you know what I'm talking about. I'm not saving money. I don't for any knucklehead money, any knucklehead decision. I want something to be there for them when they wanna buy their first house, start a business, things like that. So I don't know if knucklehead is an industry term, but I told my boys, "You're on your own for their college. I paid for yours."
College is it's an interesting topic. I mean, I have a lot of considerations for that. I don't know that necessarily telling a child that there's money available for them to go to school is a good idea. They might not take it as seriously as if they had to pay for it themselves. So that's sort of its own issue. Should you pay for your grandkids to go to college? I don't know.
Nah,
I mean, this all becomes so personal. And, what if they don't want to go to school? What if
I know.
it's just not their thing? You're throwing money at something that
Yep.
they're going to have to pay a federal penalty to remove the money from. Um, but, we could talk for hours just on that topic alone and how to spend the money and where it should
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, but we could just set up a simple plan, $100 a month, right, for the grandkids the day after they're born and just let that multiply.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You can set up even just a little retirement account and, make them the beneficiary to it.
Yeah, that's my goal is to because I want them and I don't wanna put a I know you can put an age on, you can do a lot of things to set it up when they can get it, stuff like that. But mine is just for them when they get out of if they go to college, whether they don't go to, age 22 to 25, 26, when their career is starting, is to be able to have something to help them get started.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, look, there's a million ways to play this game. It's all about creativity and finding what's most important to the person I'm working with. I mean, I can't really give advice from one person to the next because everyone is so different. So the values between people are just dramatic at times. So you know, look,
It
as long as you care about them, that's the most important
Yeah.
piece, right?
Is that one of the things you enjoy about, the different type of clients that call you that you end up working with?
Yeah, yeah. It's never some vanilla sort of answer. I mean, as you can probably tell already, I don't really have vanilla answers built
Mhm.
into me. It's more of, well, what's most important to you? Um, we can literally do anything. It's your money. So, as creative as you want to be, if you just want to stockpile bottles of bourbon for that grandkid and in 30 years unleash that on them, hey, that sounds fantastic.
And another thing, BNI has taught me a lot of things over the years. I think I'm going on 9 to 10 years. And it's as a business owner, what value do you show to your clients? Because we could Google Wake County financial advisors and 1,200 names would probably come up. And one of the things I enjoy when you talk about what you do and other successful financial advisors, and I say successful in that they take care of their clients, is like you said earlier, first question, what do you want to do? Because you have programs, you could sell people a plan in a second, but it may not work for them.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you could always sell something to anyone, whatever pays me the most in commissions or profits. But it's not really going to keep me in business for very long. People catch on after a while, and with the advent of the internet, uh, people find out you're not so good.
One of the things for folks not familiar with BNI, each week at a meeting, we go around the room and we do what we call elevator pitches. Stand up, hey, I'm Mike. I do this. Here's how I help. Let me tell you a story, things like that. And I just still chuckle that your ideal client are moms and
Moms,
ladies. And the group has fun with that. But That seems to work for you, doesn't it?
Yeah, early in my career, the people that taught me how to do what I do, I always talk about that elevator pitch, and is how can you come up with the most creative, bizarre thing to say to someone to jar them, to ask questions, and I just always dreaded that. It's just not who I am as a person. But here we are again, starting with BNI. All right, what's your elevator
Yeah.
pitch? Oh, geez. Let me think of who I like to work with. And out of all of my clients, my top couple are all moms. That's what they have in common. And
Well
I'm sure it sounds funny as can be when I tell everybody I just like to work with moms.
well, and we do joke with it, but you do something a lot of members don't do because a lot of people in certain industries are like, "Hey, I can help anybody." And in your world, technically, that's kinda correct, but
Yeah,
nowhere near helping the others. So when you say moms, okay, you've kind of we again, it's funny to hear sometimes coming out of somebody's mouth, but it paints a really good picture for us to start looking around like, I know 5 of those.
yeah,
Let me reach out to a couple of them. So, I give you credit for it. As much fun we have with it, I give you credit for saying that. So, that's good stuff. Speaking of so I'm assuming you're good with moms, right?
yeah. I try to
Uh,
be.
well, that's the word on the street, yeah. So the first time you met your mother-in-law, did that go over well?
It did. It did. She's a fantastic lady. Um, yeah, fortunately, she liked me. So,
Okay. And that's what led you to think, "Huh, okay, yep, I could do that."
yeah.
Alright, so always like to talk, couple things with folks. You have a, economics degree from Towson University.
Yes, sir.
You are from Maryland. Where would you have gone if you didn't go to Towson?
Ooh. Um, that's a tough one to answer. It took me a while to figure out what it was I really wanted to do with my life. Surrounded by medicine, I probably would have enjoyed being a surgeon. Um, I don't know. I mean, hindsight's always 2020. Now at age of 45, what would my life have been like otherwise? I do like working with my hands. I do like doing complicated things. I think in a science manner. But here I am. I always liked money. I think people kind of like money to a certain extent. Um, but I ended up doing an internship. I had to do something to fulfill the credit, and uh, dumb luck. I had asked a financial advisor if I could tag along, and I swear to you, it was day one. I fell in love with it. Just I don't know, it was a kind of a perfect fit. You get to sit and talk to people and have a very personal conversation and solve problems.
It
But
yeah.
that doesn't really answer what college. But I actually was between economics and mechanical engineering.
Wow.
I had I had an open door to go to University of Maryland and start there in the that department, but uh, I don't know. It was like three classes less to do the economics degree, so I went that way.
Again,
You
another
know,
math problem, right? 3 less. Okay, I
yeah.
could do it.
12 years later, I was still in college working on a master's, and you know, hindsight.
Uh, so I always like to do a little research on the universities my guests went to. So Towson University, Google that real quick for distinguished alums. So I'm hoping this show in some small way will put you on that list. You're not there yet, but they only did the top 81. So I'm thinking you're close, but not quite. So to get you into the top 81, you would be in a group with the comedian Amy Schumer.
Huh,
She's a grad. Mike Rowe, who my wife really likes him.
huge fan.
Yeah,
He's such a fantastic person.
he does that show for like the dirtiest jobs in the world, right? It's an excellent show. And I found out my favorite alum, other than you at Towson University, is the athletic director at the University of Tennessee, Danny White, is a Towson grad. So I know they only let the smart people in there because he's very smart. We like him a lot. So hopefully this will move you up there a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we're open on that. You went to
It should
Saint
help. I married a Towson alum too, so
Alright. So,
anything you can do to get to the top of the list, right?
there you go, there you go. Alright, so while we're here, I'm a couple minutes early on when I like to ask this question, but we're here, so we'll do that. Always like to ask the folks on the show, your wife's name is Stephanie.
Yep.
So how did you 2 meet, and do you both tell the story the same way?
Ah, so we met mutually saving a dog that was crossing the street. It almost got hit by a car. It was a pretty amazing moment. Um, I've heard some people tell the story that we met on eHarmony, um, but I believe the true story was the dog in the street.
And why were you at that point? Were you going where were you going that got you to that intersection or that
Nah,
street?
I was just teasing. No, it was eHarmony.
Oh,
Uh,
dude, you're killing me. You know
yeah,
what? We're done. Amnon, sign
yeah.
us off. We're done.
Nah, eHarmony actually. I was at a point in my life where I was looking for something very specific. Like a very smart man I know, Mr. Gorman. A little shout out to Mr. Gorman there. Specific is terrific, and I was on a very specific search, looking for a very specific personality, and eHarmony came through. Surprising. I'm sure everybody thought Bumble and Tinder
Mm.
would be the way, but
You'd be
um,
surprised how many people, have met online and got married. So, alright, so a couple questions on that. First of all, did the picture you posted on eHarmony have hair?
I that's an interesting question. I've never been shy of presenting myself in every facet, so there may have been a photo of me with hair on there.
And
Uh,
how long did you well, first of all, what was it about her profile that made you think, "Alright, we need to chat for a minute?"
um, it's been a while, so I'd struggle to answer that honestly. I do remember the photos were cute, and I went, "Wow, I'll take a swing for the fences here." Um, and sure enough, she responded. So, but I knew by our second date that I was going to marry her. So,
Alright, so let me back up before we get to that. So how long did you guys talk before you actually met in person?
ooh, probably a week or two.
Okay. Alright, and you're both in the same town?
Yeah, pretty close. Probably about we live maybe 15 minutes apart.
Okay, and where was the first date?
It was a little pizza place um, that unfortunately no longer exists. It was a just a small pizza shop, and the chef there was fantastic. But yeah, just had a quick bite after work and continued the conversations after that.
And how soon was the second date?
I want to say within the next week or two.
Nice, alright.
It got a little bit tricky. I didn't know her birthday was about the same time, so she kind of pushed it off a few days. I couldn't figure out what was going on, and then it's like, oh, yeah, it's kind of a strange.
Yeah,
I don't know. Just meet somebody
yeah.
dating, and the birthday thing. Yeah,
And she had a party that you weren't quite invited to yet, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
That's a little bit strange to bring the guy you just met online
Yeah,
to
yeah.
the party with all of your friends and
There you
family.
go. Yep. Yeah, because women have to be careful when they introduce a guy to their friends because, I think it's a tougher approval process for the guy because when we introduce a lady we're dating to our guys, it's either thumbs up, thumbs down, basically on,
Yeah,
very different grading scale.
yeah.
So, who did you first tell you were gonna marry her after the second date?
Ooh.
You go home one day,
Um,
tell mom and dad?
no, I never really talked about that stuff with them. Want to say it was probably my college roommate Brian,
Alright.
who coincidentally was our married us.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. And you 2 have 2 daughters. Having raised 2 boys myself, what's it like being a girl dad?
Oh my god, I love it. It's fantastic. I mean, I've never raised two boys, so I don't I can't really compare it, but it's 100% fun. You know, there's and they're just at the age now. Brooke is 3 and Sophie is about 1.5. You know, Sophie's just beginning to be able to play with Brooke and do the things that she wants to do, and it's fantastic. They're best friends.
I we have, 2 grandkids right now. Oliver's 4.5, Maggie's 5 months, and it's different, at least raising 2 boys. If they said something they shouldn't have said to their mother, I can just lovingly cuff them in the back of the head real easy, like, "Don't say that to your mother." But and with Oliver, when he does something that he shouldn't do, which is he's 4.5 and he's a guy, so let's just leave it at that blank, right? I just look at him like, "Dude, don't no, you don't do that." And with Maggie, she's 5 months, I just hold her like, "What do you want? Do you want money? Do you want a house? Do you want a car? I'll buy it for you right."
Yeah, I'm probably the one that Steph will tell you. I spoiled both of them. I mean, I'm the one who goes to the store and spends too much money on clothes and toys and everything for them. It's and they can never do any wrong.
Yep, yep,
And plus, I mean, they're both so funny that I have a hard time keeping it together. Even when they do something wrong,
yeah,
it's like
yeah, I know. Sure, yeah. Do you have brothers and sisters?
I have a sister.
So you're at least, uh, into that world of, watching, a girl being raised in the house. Because I always feel for moms who have sons but never had a brother, so they don't understand why their 4-year-old is jumping off the back of their couch with a towel tied around their neck thinking they're a superhero and can fly.
Hey, you know what? The girls do that too.
Oh,
It's
good.
it's full time. How can I kill myself? You know it keeps me young.
You guys also have a dog, which leads me to my question about your website, which I do like, and it's franksfinancial.com?
That's correct.
Okay, so we'll give that a plug, franksfinancial.com. You have pictures of dogs on your website when you're talking about the people you or the clients you like dealing with.
Yeah.
Why? Why?
Uh, if you had seen my previous website, basically Google financial advisor, and you'll see out of the first 1,000 websites you find, they all look almost identical.
Yeah,
They're all just as boring as the next one. It's the formal headshot, and everything about it is like, okay, so you work with, okay, yeah, great.
yeah,
And when COVID hit, I don't know, I was just sitting there, trying to figure out what was happening in the world. I looked at my website, I went, God, I'd never hire me. This is awful.
yeah.
And just my personality, I like to laugh. I like to have a good time.
You
And,
do.
I'm not really this stodgy person who's dressed in a suit 24 hours a day.
Well,
Well, what
and
do I have to
and
lose?
and when I looked at your website, which I laughed hard, which I like because it's memorable. It would have even if I didn't know you, I'm like, "Okay, I like where this is going." Because the other financial pages, it's the guy, the professional headshot, then there's a picture of him in a suit, and there's a picture of him at a table with a couple, and he's pointing something out, and they're looking down like just yeah,
Yeah,
that's a stage shot, so I'm with you on that.
I mean, that's just not even what I do for a living. So
Yeah,
I can't, I felt like I was lying to the public by
yeah,
having that site up. And, geez, I don't know. What am I going to put on these as for pictures? And how
yeah,
do I describe this? And I said,
yeah,
I don't know. How about dogs?
yeah, exactly. No, I
I
love it,
like
so
dogs.
yep, so franksfinancial.com, go look at it, you'll appreciate it, and I loved it, I think that was the first time I'd been on there to look at it. And I'm scrolling like, "Alright, do I have the right site?" And so I had to
Mm-hmm.
go back out to make sure there's not another Frank's Financial in, like, Reno that did this to make sure it's you. So I scrolled to the bottom, I saw the Wake Forest, and like, "Okay, I get it now, I get it now."
Yeah.
You in your world of financial advising and insurance, there's all kinds of series, 210, 1,000,008 to take. You've got a bunch of licenses. Can I assume that that makes you a good test taker?
Oh my God. I am a terrible test taker.
Don't
I
lie to
am,
me. Don't lie to me.
put me in a lineup with people that overthink everything. I mean, it's probably why I'm good at what I do. They give me an easy question and I go, well, I could think of about 7 different ways that could be a problem. And that's not how the test makers want them answered. They want them answered very specifically. And I have had to teach myself how to take tests better. The
Mhm.
quantity of times I've failed these tests just because I don't know. I mean, the in my head, it's always if you do something wrong, you end up in jail, and
Yeah.
apparently that's not the right answer for any of the questions. So I had to relearn, what the penalties were. I'm like, I don't know. I just don't think like that. I don't like to do the wrong thing. So I don't like to dwell on
Yeah.
what I could be sent to or sentenced with.
When I, usually with a guest, I find the gold topic on, like, page 3 of Google, because on the first one, just the regular stuff comes up, so just keep typing in names and clicking on stuff, and so I gotta know this. I've been thinking about this for the last couple days. You were, I don't know if you're the only one, but you
Mm,
are a United States Achievement Academy Collegiate Award winner.
mm.
What is that?
It was something I was nominated for. In my pursuit of what I was doing with my life, I started at a school in New Hampshire called New England College.
Oh,
Tiny, tiny little school, but wonderful little school. Probably a 6 or 8 to 1 student teacher ratio. The kind of place where these are the conversations you have with your teacher. It's not really a lecture hall with hundreds of people. Um, and I was, just as ADHD back then and involved in too many things with too many hobbies. I mean, from student senate to everything. I was involved in all of it. And one of my professors got such a kick out of my daily antics, my pursuit of trying to do more and more and more. One of the things I was trying to accomplish was getting change machines near the washers and dryers in the dorms.
yep.
Like, who carries this kind of change around? Why don't we just get some change machines? And I just relentless pursuit of trying to get this in my comedic ways. And you know, this guy just took a liking to me and nominated me. It was great.
Well, and that's actually a very good example of nobody knows your business like your clients do. Because we sit up there and we plan all this stuff. We think, oh, yeah, that'll be awesome. That'll work. And we get a client, they're like, yeah, that doesn't work for us.
Yep. Yep.
I I thinking back to the days I did laundry in college, I guess I just assumed, yeah, there was a change machine there. I don't know why there wouldn't be. So good call on your part.
One of those things,
How
I'm
long did it
relentless.
how long did it take you to get the, change machine there?
About a month and a half.
There you go.
I just didn't quit though. Every conversation became about the change machine.
Yep. Did they
Oh.
did they put your name on that machine?
I don't think they did.
So another thing I like to ask people about, I always like, to hear, the origination of the business. Is it hard for a financial advisor to go out on their own?
it's so hmm, it's complicated. You can either work for a bank or you can work for an insurance company. I'm with an independent broker dealer and run my own shop. But starting out, just like anything, who's your client? Who's paying you to do any work? What are you going to do? So um, it is challenging. I mean, the best advice I can give anyone is find an established advisor and see if they're looking for someone to help them.
Yeah.
And it's I can't imagine someone just walking off the street, taking a whole bunch of tests, and spending thousands and thousands of dollars to open a shop without a single client.
Yep. This goes back to the internship you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
That stuff matters when somebody can, because there's usually someone where we wanna be. So they've gone through all the, "Hey, let me give you the 3 things not to do," right? So,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. I
and
mean, I started in the insurance world. I was at MetLife when I started, and it was the classic. You had to buy the leads, and
yeah.
the leads they give you were just oof. You know, showing up to somebody's house, you're just hoping they're wearing clothes when they open the door. You know, true story.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I was at the Cary Connections BNI meeting this morning, and Chase Redden with South Mountain Title Company was saying he drove to a house a couple months ago, and at the foot of the driveway is a rural area. There's a sign that says trespassers will be shot.
Yeah,
And so, yeah, and he said, well, so I got on the phone, I called the guy I was going to meet, and he goes, "Oh, no, no, come on up. You're not a trespasser. I'm not going to shoot you." So, yeah, you never know what you're going to
yeah.
walk into. So, the other thing I know that, well, let me back up. So I want my superpower to be invisibility because I want
Mm.
to sit in meetings, be it at the White House, negotiations for a football player, all that stuff. I'm just fascinated by how did we get to where we are? So I would love to have been a fly on the wall for your branding meeting. How do I name my business? What should I call it?
Yeah,
And it took
that's
you
a tough one.
how long to come up with this? Which, by the way, is the right answer. So your company name is correct, Frank's Financial. But
Yeah,
what were your
it's
options?
it's as obvious as it gets. I actually paid a firm to create all the branding and
Okay,
create the original website. I mean, I paid a brand new car for all of that stuff. I think the only two things I kept out of it all were the logo. They knew I was a dog fanatic. I
yeah,
did a significant amount of time in the dog rescue world and helping out of the kennels and whatnot. But that and the name. I mean, the name was easy because well, it's who I am and what I do. And
yeah,
I'm a firm believer that unless you're some massive company like a Nike or Apple,
yeah.
it doesn't even tell you what they do, just a
Well,
thing.
and what I like about all jokes aside, what I like about your business to echo your point is you didn't overthink this. Because we've all seen businesses, it's like a Greek or a Latin name, and they pick it because, well, it means the 7 things we stand for.
Yeah,
First of all, nobody's gonna remember 7 things. Second of all, they can't pronounce your company name. So
yeah,
don't overthink it.
yeah. It's like my hairstyle or the clothes I wear. It doesn't matter to me. It's what everybody else around me has
Yeah,
to look at.
I know.
You know, especially like the back of your head. I mean,
Yeah. I feel
what
that
does it
way,
matter what
yeah.
I think?
I feel that way about the car I drive. "Hey, it gets me to where I need to go." I'm not here to impress anybody with my car, so
Yep.
what's the latest beer you're brewing in the house or in the garage?
I've been trying to find some time to brew. There's a an oyster stout that I've been staring at the recipe for quite a while now. It's just finding the time between work, the kids, BNI.
Yep.
But I'm a stout fan, and I've had a few oyster stouts in my time that I just absolutely loved. Hard to find, so I figure I'll brew it.
So when Stephanie's with people that haven't met you and they say, "What's your husband's like? What's your husband like?" And she just says, "Well, he's stout." Would that be a good answer?
Yeah, sure.
From the, time you want to start till the time it's ready to drink in a normal world, what's that window?
In brew day, it's about a 4-hour process. I tinker around. Depends on the brew itself, but a couple weeks,
Okay. Alright.
2, 3 weeks.
If what was the hard so for anybody listening right now or watching and they wanted to start doing this as well, what was the hardest thing to get started
Hmm.
or in getting started?
Probably just some of the basics of the science and understanding. You know, the biggest thing I've learned is keeping oxygen out of the process. If you can keep it out 100%, then you will have a very good beer. If oxygen leaches in, it's going to taste pretty bad. But anyone who wants to get into brewing, I'd say find a brew club.
Oh, okay.
I joined a club back in Baltimore called Balta Brew. Fantastic group of people from lots of different backgrounds, a couple of actual pure scientists in the group, and people that have been brewing and distilling and just in the alcohol world for years with super palates that can tell you every different off flavor and how to avoid or add in if you want it. It's an interesting thing. So obviously, having people that know how to do it show you how they do it, and it's fun. It's a fun thing to do with other people. So you know someone who likes to brew and you ask them to join them, they'll probably be delighted to have you there.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, those niche interests are they run deep, don't they?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
you're if you're in, you're in.
yeah, yeah.
Don't wanna get you in trouble, so just me and you talking here. Can you if you make your own beer at home, can you share with your friends?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not a beer drinker, so I'm not asking for any,
Yep.
but you could put it in a mason jar and drive it down the road to your neighbor?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I don't know the actual rules for North Carolina, but most states are, it's a certain quantity that you're allowed to
Yeah.
produce in a year.
Oh, okay.
I want to. It's a pretty decent amount. I mean, you you wouldn't get a whole lot else accomplished if you tried to drink that much beer in a year. Uh, you know, but you're not supposed to be selling it. You're not supposed to be
Yeah,
doing that without licensing. That's the basics that I know to it.
yeah.
But since I've never hit the point of having the time to brew that much, 5 gallons at a clip takes me a while to consume.
And not with 2
Give it a
little
good
ones,
go.
you won't have that time for a while, will you? And
No.
then you got college. So here's the thing I like to joke with girl dads, and, my wife's sister and her husband have 2 girls, and I just laugh with my brother-in-law when the girls were younger, they're now, both married. I would just laugh with him, it's like, "Dude, you don't have to worry about college, you got 2 weddings to pay for." And they don't have a 529 plan for that, do they?
No 529 plan for that. That is, you could do it like my in laws did. Oh, you want to marry our daughter? Yeah, no problem. Here, we've got money saved. That's great. Please. How
Oh,
can we speed this up?
okay.
My
Now, would it be in your okay, so
wife's going to kill me if she hears that.
oh, yeah, yeah, well, I'll make sure she does. So you've been a girl dad for what, 3.5 years now? Okay. So when you get to a certain point, and I think the average price of a decent wedding is like 25 grand. I mean, it's ridiculous, okay?
Yeah,
And that's why having boys is great. We just pay for the rehearsal dinner, piece of
yeah,
cake, right?
right.
I'm wondering how many dads and or moms got to the point and told their daughter, "Here's 18 grand cash. Elope and then have a party when you come back and put this down towards a house." I wonder how
Yeah.
many of those conversations go on.
It's not. I mean, look, it's just a big party
Yep,
for everyone else.
yep.
Is it worth the price? I mean, look, anything my wife needs, I will do my best to provide. And anything my daughters need, I will do my best to provide. Is it a smart decision financially? I
No.
mean, come on, it's a terrible decision. You could
Yep,
go down to the courthouse and probably for $50 get the job done.
yep, yep, yep.
Um, the other 18,000 is in your pocket still. Um, but it is what it is. Some people like the show in life and
Mhm.
putting that all together.
Yeah, and when your daughter says, "Daddy, that's all I want. I want a wedding where I can have, walk down the aisle. I can do this. I mean, how do you say no, right?
Yeah, I haven't found a way yet.
Oh, they're gonna work you good, aren't they?
My girl here's a good example. My girls like snowballs. There's a little Pelican snowball place up here in Wake
Yep.
Forest. There's in Baltimore. There's a lot of the snowball stands around town. So I ended up just buying a snowball machine for the house, and I've now purchased I don't know how many gallons of the syrup, but my wife thinks I'm semi crazy, but
Yeah.
the girls love it.
Oh, yeah, you're dad of the year, aren't you, when you brought that up?
Trying, trying.
Now, how many do they get a week?
uh, this past week we've had one almost every day. I mean, once you get the stuff, it's pretty cheap. A bag of ice is, I think, $1.50. So that lasts about a week.
Oh, no, I'm not
Uh,
worried about that. I'm just worried
yeah,
about well, if you do your homework, honey, we'll have a, yeah, snowball tonight, yeah.
yeah. Although I did the math in my head, it was a lot cheaper to just buy it rather than keep driving back and forth and the quantity of time that I was wasting. And we could just have it here. But that's the practical guy in me.
Well, and when they get older, you can, open your own, and they can work there. That'll be their high school job for them and their friends. They'll really like you there.
Honestly, I think snowball stands. That's got to be one of the greatest businesses out there. I mean, look, what kind of knowledge does it take to start the business? I mean, do
Ice,
you like the taste?
yep.
I don't know.
How do you How do you keep the
Mixed in
ice
a couple of
cold?
syrup.
Yeah. How do you
Yeah,
keep the ice cold? Goal number 1.
yeah, yeah. I could argue that all day that would be a better decision than going into a financial advising job where you have to get all these licenses and
Yeah.
study and
Okay, and I always like sharing money-making tips with my friends and guests, so here's the freebie to you.
yep,
So you get at the corner and your girls are, let's say they're 10 and 7.5, right? They're about 2.5 years apart, maybe 3.
year and a half.
Oh, year and a half. Oh, doing
Yeah.
bad math. Okay. So they're 10 and 8.5. And you help them open their own snowball stand. And maybe 10 paces down the sidewalk is a snowball stand for the parents where you have like pina colada snowballs
Mhm.
and things like that. So I think you
Yep.
can probably make or buy that syrup and do your
You
own. So
know, funny you say that. I just, for the first time, saw at the Lowe's grocery store the alcoholic ice cream. I
oh,
went, "You got to be kidding me! Really? I never thought of that."
alcohol. I did you buy any?
I didn't buy any. I had one of the girls with me. I felt like that was a bad dad move to be buying booze while holding your baby.
True.
But
Yeah, nobody's ever done that before, right? Yeah,
yeah,
in the
yeah,
South, yeah. Uh,
I try.
what yeah, what kind of flavors?
There were four different ones. I want to say it was like there was a bourbon something, and I don't know. They all sounded appealing. It was just
Yeah.
I got a good chuckle. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. That's what's great about this country, man. If you have an idea at the right time,
Yep.
it could take off. So
Yeah, I'm happy for that guy. I thought it was a great idea.
alcohol ice cream. I may have to, and that's at Lowe's.
Yeah, they had a little cart near the checkout stuff. Yeah,
Huh. May have checked that out. But
buy
yeah,
yourself a little pint and try it out.
yeah, but don't forget about that adult snowball of adjacent auxiliary stand. We'll call it that. All right. So, Michael, we've enjoyed having you on the show. Folks, go to franksfinancial.com. Check him out there. We've been putting his phone number up there. Brand new year. We all have wonderful ideas before we forget and or just stop doing our New Year's resolutions. What's something easy we can do to start just saving a buck? What's
Jeez. uh,
I've heard of change cups. Just pull the change out of your pocket every night. What's any things you've seen before that your friends of yours have done or something like that? Just get people in the thought process of just starting to save for something.
Honestly, I had an interesting conversation with a lady the other day. I can't remember what store we were in, but she was talking about how she uses envelopes and still just as
Oh,
a like 1 through 10 envelopes, and they each signify something. So if she wants to save for something, she just puts some cash in there. I went, taking it old school. I love it. I
interesting.
mean,
Yep.
you know,
I've got a friend of mine. He would always have $100 in an envelope underneath the floor mat in his car if he ever didn't have any money and needed to buy gas if he forgot his wallet or something. So you know what? But hey, she's saving
yeah.
for something.
I always kept a small bottle of booze in my car in case my car broke down.
Good.
Put it back in the spare tire section, so one day you'll
Yep.
open that up and go, ah,
Oh, my bad. I thought it was to stay warm during those cold Maryland winters in case you blew a tire and you're stuck on the side of the road. That wasn't it?
finding a present for myself for one day if I ever got stuck. At least I'd have that.
Well, you'll sleep well. You may freeze to death, but you'll sleep well after that bottle.
Yeah.
All right, Michael, thank you very much. So, folks, if you are in the Franklinton, Lewisburg, Youngsville/Franklin County area, and you got a business or there's somebody you know that has a business, they want to grow it, every Wednesdays at 11:30 a.m. at the Slammer. You're going to want to meet this group because the world is moving out to Franklin County. They're figuring it out, and now's the best time to get there. So, Michael, good luck with everything. I'm sure you have goals. It's January 9th. I'm sure you're still on track with all your goals for the year because, you're that process driven.
Yeah. Hey, thanks
Uh,
for having me on here.
yep. No, glad to do it. Again, it's just money. Just start something, right? Just start
Something.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a goal.
Save.
Yep. All right. So we've been putting his number up there. Thanks again, Michael. And we will see everybody next time on Triangle BNI.
You're tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.